We would like to remind our passengers that in the next district, reputation cannot be turned into currency. I repeat, social reputation cannot be turned into currency.
But Mom, you were a teacher last month. Why are you a revolutionary now?
We're all revolutionaries at some point, honey. That includes you.
The Conclave has released the Human-to-Human Interaction Protocol version 3.1.56. All abbots and abbesses are required to update processes at once in order to preserve the smooth running of our work and prayer.
We can all agree we want a better life, a better future, a better humanity. And you might have your own flavor for that. You might really believe in sustainability, or freedom, or justice. But be honest with me. How many minutes, how many hours of your life have you already spent imagining this future? How will your descendants behave? How will they look like? What's the technology gonna be like? How are the feelings gonna be like in the future? Do you think the amount of time you spend in your life corresponds to the importance that you give to creating this better future for yourself and for humanity? And if not, and if we fail collectively as a species to imagine those futures, to project those futures, how the hell are we supposed to create futures we enjoy, futures we agree with, if we're not even spending the time to think about them, you know? The basics.
When I was 16, I decided I wanted to be an economist. Economics, it seemed to me, was the place where you could learn to understand our collective behavior and make our society better. Our well-being depends on this massively complex emergent system that we are all part of. We call it the economy, and we can understand it and redesign it, make it better. I became disillusioned when, at the end of the 20th century, academia threw in the towel and doubled down on defending some kind of orthodoxy that never worked that well in theory and had just the right amount of tweaks so that you could stumble on in practice. Economics can and must do better. We must offer models that people are inspired to be a part of.
But many times our imaginations, they struggle with things as big and as complex as full economies. How to reinvent something so intricate? And we're also surrounded by this economy, right? Surrounded by those rules, those assets, those values. We would really benefit from a place where we could dream big, dream wild. Luckily, we already have that space. A space where thinkers from all around the world have been projecting future societies that look vastly different from our own. It's called science fiction. Sci-fi is a framework that allows us to witness, to observe what's not yet there, what could be.
Perhaps not observe, but to extrapolate, to take an idea and to stretch it to its logical limits, and possibly even weirder, because real life, truth is far often more absurd and stranger than fiction could ever be. But to push that boundary and to see what characters and things happen, and to come back and say, well, this might be something that happens. This might be how people react. This might be stories that form, that narratives that emerge. And this is one of the things I've always found fascinating about science fiction.
A few years back, I boarded a pirate ship of Edge Riders. Together we dreamed up the Science Fiction Economics Lab, meant as a place where we can do 21st century economics with the same freedom of mind enjoyed by economists in the 17th and 18th century. And that turns out to entail a certain amount of utopianism.
So let's talk a little bit about what we're trying to do here. Among my friends, particularly those who write fantasy, there's talk of this iceberg theory of world building. And the idea is that an iceberg is something that you see a little bit of on top of the water. The reader sees that, and beneath it is a whole other mass that supports that top, that supports the story, your main character in a market passing two strangers. That is the top of the iceberg. And below that lies economic systems, currency, the language that these two speak, this trading language, the lives of those people who are trading, and the lives of markets like this. What we are trying to do here is create the base of an iceberg like that. And we're trying to create it in two ways. It has to have two objectives. The first is that anyone can take that base, and build an iceberg on top, and tell a story, and explore systems that are in here. And the second is anyone can keep adding to that base. Because what we want to do is no fictional world is perfectly realized. And what we want to do is create a base that others can also contribute to.
That's the basic idea, but how does it translate into action? What are the next steps and how can you plug in? Well, the first steps already happened. The Worldbuilding Academy formed a core team, and this core team is working hard to create an open source world and a platform where people can interact and expand this world. The idea is that both in a narrative sense and also in a platform sense, we want to create a world that's extensible, modular, and we even want to add gaps on purpose because we don't want to create this world on our own. We just want to have enough structure so that all sorts of people can interact with this work. So if you want to help us expand this world building and create your own vision, that's cool, we'll have a space for you. But if you only want to write a short story based on that world, you're also invited. And if you're an architect and you're just interested in the architectural aspect of this world, we got your back too. The nature of this work is open source, so please help us create something amazing that we can offer for free. Let's foster those conversations. Let's create those imaginations. There's already a couple of invitations for collaboration in the description below, but next year we're planning on an engagement campaign proper. We're thinking things like invitations for particular collaborations. We want to invite professionals to our group. Imagine if writers could collaborate with chefs to figure out the gastronomy of a particular place. That would be amazing. We're thinking maybe short story competitions, maybe monthly calls. We're not sure yet. We want a temperature check with our community, see what the community responds to, and then focus those actions there. The most crucial aspect of this work is community building and collaboration. So if you personally agree that those imagination exercises are vital, are so important, then join us in the Edge Riders platform. The link will be in the description of this video. And engage with the prompts we leave there, with the people around, propose your own things. These are your peers, people who care about things that you also care about. Find them, engage, and let's together build new economies, new societies, a new humankind. Dear passengers, in a few minutes your blood samples will be collected by our train crew. As per usual, you will be assigned an amount of currency based on your viral immunity and the usefulness of your genetic material. We wish you a pleasant journey.
Arm, please. Thank you. Arm, please. Thank you. Appendage, please. Thank you. Arm, please. Thank you.